First saw this MrBeast video. When I saw the title, I had not opened the video because I don't really watch his videos. I don't even know how he came up in my recommendations. I just saw the title. I built 100 wells in Africa, and I was like, here we go again. I know it's not for the reasons that are trending or for the reasons it's being cancelled, or at least not for most of them. But first of all, let's talk about what the issue is, right? So in case you didn't know, MrBeast actually went to some countries, 2 countries in Africa, at least that was mentioned in the video, and built wells in certain areas where they do not have access to clean water, clean drinking water, just clean water generally. And he assisted them. He also provided computers. He provided computers in some schools. He provided projectors in some schools for the classrooms. He did a lot of good stuff actually. So the countries were Kenya and Zimbabwe specifically, and he did mention that in the video. We did see the people. They gave him a grand welcome, you know.
We're really happy to see us. How's it going? I was not expecting this. Thank you for the welcome.
And you could tell from the situation of those people that they actually needed this.
You know, students complaining of diarrhea, infections like typhoid, because this is the water we've been using. So we try to treat, but you see, look at it, you know, but at the end of the day, life has to move on. You have to get some water anyway.
It is life-saving what he went to do in those parts. In general, he did something really, really good. However, he's coming under fire for having done this. And according to him, he actually expected that this was going to happen. Said that he knows that it's going to be cancelled for this, and he doesn't care. Okay, so he already knows how this works, because according to his profile, he's actually been doing a lot of stuff, philanthropy, charity work. He even has a whole channel dedicated to his philanthropy work. I think that's his Beast Philanthropy or something. So he has been doing a lot. So I think from experience he knows that there are people who are going to appreciate it, and there are people who are always going to have something to say about it. Okay, so guys, for me, like I said before, when I first saw the title, and I'm going to say the reason why I felt that way, okay, because from watching people's reaction to this, I'm also noticing certain things about American audience reacting to this and African audiences reacting to this. Okay, I feel like there is a little bit of difference in perspectives. Not all Africans and not all Americans, of course, okay, but there is a bit of difference. However, why is it coming under fire really? Some people have said that what he's doing is actually charity porn. It's Twitter user actually said this. I'll put that on the screen, and it's basically saying that if, you know, he's doing all of this charity work, but he's filming them and he's posting this content and he's making money off of it, then it's not really charity, you know, and that it's just tacky and it's just charity porn, right? Some people have gone as far as saying he's trying to recolonize Africa, and that he's trying to make his own ethno state, and you know, things like that. So it's coming under fire for a lot of things. However, the one that we want to talk about really was this guy that talked about this. He literally highlighted these points, and I'll put it on the screen. I will take them one at a time, right? No one at a time necessarily, we'll just talk about them. So one of the things he talked about was that Africa is a continent, and he's supposed to talk about where he went in Africa. Now, this is the one part that I agreed with. As I said before, when I first saw the video, my first reaction was like, I did this in Africa. Here we go again. Where did you go in Africa? To be honest, that was my honest to God first reaction. I was like, why don't you just say where he went in Africa in the title, right? Because I knew that most likely after opening the video, it would say where he actually went, which was what happened. But why not mention that in the title? Now, this might seem flimsy, and a lot of people might be like, but what does it matter? He mentioned where he went in the video, and at the end of the day, he went to do something good. So why find fault? It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's true that he went to do something good, and at the end of the day, that is in fact the most important thing. But I think a lot of people need to understand where some Africans are coming from when they make this type of comments about mentioning places. It's not necessarily because you want to make sure they know it's not my country. I don't think so, at least not in my case. I just feel that Africa has been subject of the Western media's agenda for a long time, and Western media has done its utmost in making sure that Africa is seen as one single entity. Because when Africa is seen as one single entity, it is easier to push a single story about the entity. I don't know if you understand. Because if you are saying, if you stop referring to it as Africa, Africa all the time, and you start mentioning different countries all the time, it makes them diverse, right? It makes you know that there is individuality in this continent. There are different countries, even within the country, within the countries, there is individuality. But when it is made into one entity, it makes it easier to push a single story. And Africa, for a long time, as a name, has been synonymous with poverty, with sick children, with lack of healthcare, with a lot of things, with sick babies, with sick children, with big bellies, and all of that, right? Africa has been synonymous with that for a long time, and that is why a lot of people, even when they want to talk about having gone to a missionary work, for example, they would typically not say, I went for a missionary work in Nairobi, or I went for a missionary work in Nigeria. Some would just say, I went to a missionary work in Africa. Because again, the moment you mention Africa, it elicits an image in the minds of most people, especially those from the West. The moment you mention Africa and you say, oh, I went to assist in Africa, they automatically think, oh, that means they went to help the sick children. That means they went to help provide clean water. That means they went to feed those who were starving and all of that. Because that is the image that they represent. A lot of people will not think, oh, maybe he went for a tech assistant job, maybe went for something else, because that is what Africa has been synonymous with for a long time. I don't know if you guys understand it, and that is why majority of people, when they want to put titles in their videos, they would not necessarily mention the place they went. They'll just say, I went to this in Africa, because they know the moment a lot of people see that title, it elicits the image. It's easy for them to digest. But if, for example, it was to be like, oh, I went to do this in Algeria, for example, believe it or not, majority of people, especially from the West, would not know that it's actually an African country. You know, it makes you take a step back. Like, where is that? Is that in Africa? It makes you be like, maybe, what is their own issue there or something? It just makes you take a step back and want to know something different about them, or want to understand, is it the same thing? I don't know if you guys get my point, but like, mentioning Africa is an image. Africa has become synonymous with this, and Western media is doing everything to make sure that we don't lose that image, that Africa as a continent does not lose that image. And the only way Africa can lose that image is when people start to educate themselves, you know, and really mention these things. I remember seeing a comment, and one guy was talking about how it was a video on people having flat feet, and the guy was talking about how he had seen a documentary on he didn't even say some, on Africans, and all of them, that was how he put it, he said they all had flat feet, okay? And they was talking about how they were able to jump from trees to trees in the forest and how strong they were. Now, what is the problem with that comment? The problem is not that he didn't see, he most likely saw that documentary, right? But the problem is, just look at that, he didn't feel the need to mention where those tribes were from, what country they were from. He just said the Africans, they all had flat feet. He doesn't feel the problem generalizing, because again, it has been built into the psyche that it is just one place. Over time, people do not even, and that is why, believe it or not, a lot of people, especially from the West, you'll be surprised at how many people do not even know that Africa is a continent and not a country. You'll be surprised. I'm telling you. So the problem is not that these people necessarily mean any harm. The problem is just that it's when people fail to just break it apart and mention places rather than just saying Africa all the time. The problem with that is it helps to push the stereotype. It helps to further the stereotype about Africa rather than talk about the different countries in the continent. If you had gone to Asia, he most likely would not have said I went to Asia to do whatever. He most likely would have said I went to Japan. If it was Japan, South Korea, India, he most likely would have mentioned where he went. If it was in Latin America, he most likely would have mentioned where he went. So either consciously or unconsciously, most people just putting this, I went to this in Africa, are also subscribing to the stereotypical picture, to the single story that has been built over time about this place as a continent. I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying, but yeah. Now, secondly, is he also talked about him having like a savior complex, and blah 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 and all of that. Do I agree with that? Not necessarily. As I said before, this guy is doing something good, and even if he's clout chasing, even if he's trying to build his profile with that, well, there's worse things that could happen. And as long as it's not exploiting these people directly, I feel like they are both gaining from this. Even if his profile is getting built, these people are getting clean water. I feel like it's a fair trade, to be honest, even if that was what he was doing, you know. So I don't really subscribe to that. But again, you have to understand where some Africans are coming from in feeling itty-bitty about it, because again, some of these people who have actually gone to Africa to help certain regions have actually exploited these people, have used it to clout chase. Some have went there just to show the disparity in how they live and how these people live. Oh, I can't believe this is how they live. You know, they've just gone to use it to just chase clout, get views, build their profiles. So some people have gone there to exploit those people and to also continue to further push this stereotype about Africa. Because most of these people that go to these countries to exploit these people would typically not go to the areas that are developed, would not show you the developed parts of the country where people are just going about their lives. No, they most of the time would show only these places. So not only are they exploiting these people, but they are also helping to further this single story about Africa. I don't know if you are getting. So some Africans do feel itty-bitty about helping. Sometimes they question the motive, like, why are you doing this exactly? Is it just to continue to make us seem like we are the poorest group of people in a continent to ever live, and just so you exploit these people and make money? Is your motive genuine? Some people have legitimate reasons to feel that way. Okay, do some people have savior complex? Do some white people have savior complexes? Yes, it's true. I don't know if you guys heard of the story of this lady that went to, I don't remember this country in Africa. I'll try to remember and put it here, this particular country in Africa, I don't remember. And she was just a high schooler at the time. I think she had just graduated high school, had no idea what she was doing, had no training in any field of medicine, nothing. And she up and went to this African country. I think she opened a clinic, I don't remember, from donations, I think through an organization linked to a church or something. And she was literally operating on babies, on children, and ended up killing a lot of babies. I think over 100 or so of babies, knowing nothing. And you know, Africans still saw her and they were like, I mean, for that particular country, saw her and they were like, oh, she's white, you know, she has to know what she's doing. After all, they invented white medicine, blah blah blah, and trusted her. And that was it, you know. And she too felt, because could she have done that in her home country? So why did she feel like she could come to Africa to do that? Again, savior complex sometimes makes you feel like you're superior and you can do what you want. I don't know. But my point is just that some people, savior complex is legit, and some people do have that. But again, doesn't mean I agree with this. No, I do not, okay? The main one that I do not agree with at all in what this man said is when he said, we brought water or helped to build water that we did not ask him for. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, bro? What do you mean water that you did not ask him for? You don't need water, obviously. You don't live in an environment where you need clean water. So you won't ask him for it, okay? These people needed it, and they welcomed him when he came, because if the government has refused to give them something as basic as water, and then somebody else comes in and decides to help, who are you to say you didn't ask him? You don't need it. You're not the one living the lives of these people in that region. So what the F do you mean by he has come to bring water that we didn't need? That is just one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Okay, you don't need it. Don't speak for other people, okay? Because personally too, to be honest, when I saw the type of water they use, I could not believe it, guys. I honestly felt like, is this real? Because again, here in Nigeria, while I know that not everyone has access to water, whether I like it or not, we build our own boreholes ourselves. The government doesn't supply us water or nothing, but it's not so bad that nobody has access to water. I mean, even if you don't have water in your home, it's basically you always get from your neighbors, or you can always buy water. So it's not something that we need to use murky water. Even when I used to travel to my grandpa's hometown in the village, well, what's it called, a village, but we call it a village, and I'll visit him. We used to get water from the stream, very clean water from the stream. So I've never been exposed to this. I don't know if that means I'm privileged to not know. But does it mean that there are not certain areas in Nigeria where people actually face this as well? Of course there would be. Of course they are, you know. And so I would not say because I haven't experienced this, then we didn't ask him, or it's not our reality. It is our reality that there are places going through this. And so I do not argue with any of that. But again, as I said, these are some of the things, and these are some of the reasons why I feel like some Africans can be like, these people just keep perpetuating this one image about Africa. They don't even want to help. They just have a savior complex, you know. It's just a lot of things. So, but all in all, this guy has done something amazing, and I feel like he should be applauded for it. Full stop. Okay, whatever he wants to gain from it too, he can go ahead. As long as these people get water and it's not exploiting them, it's fine. If they give him permission to film and it's okay, well. People are doing much worse things to build their profile and get famous. So if he's building his profile to get famous and, I don't know, make more money by helping others, I think that's a fair trade, actually. So that's it, guys. I apologize for my ashy face. I apologize for the low volume, guys. I know the volume will be really poor, and that is because my mic decided to stop working. My microphone decided to stop working, but I told myself I'm not going to be discouraged because I'm currently filming at 1:30 a.m. guys. This is 1:30, believe it or not. Yeah, I'm supposed to be sleeping, so I said no. And it's that time of the month, so my face looks rough. I know I just look a mess, but I hope that you guys got this video. Please subscribe, share if you feel like there's someone who needs to see this. Like the video, and also leave your comments down below. I want to know what you guys think. It's fine if you agree, if you disagree or agree with me, but let us just be civil in the comments. Okay, constructive criticism is always welcome. Please don't forget to subscribe, guys. Please just click that button and subscribe, and also like the video. It helps the algorithm to recommend my video. Okay, thank you guys, and thank you for watching. Bye.